Hello, ladies. I hope that your day is going well and struggle up free. If you haven't already, please like the video, please hit the subscription and notification bell so that you will be notified every time that I upload a new video. In this video, I want to talk about safety, femininity, and a soft landing place. So often we can become accustomed to, because we have been socialized and groomed, and we have been programmed, in a sense, to expect to deal with various traumas, dramas, and dysfunctions when it comes to interpersonal relationships. In romantic relationships, we have been groomed, and it has become a norm for us to expect to be in a struggle of relationship or situationship. In a relationship that has many challenges, that brings us toxicity, dysfunction, trauma, drama, pain. It is a relationship that has far more liabilities than benefits. It is a relationship that does not enhance our life, but rather detracts from our quality of life. When we look at our actions, where we've become accustomed to struggle of, where we've become accustomed to relationships bringing a lot of problems to our lives, bringing instability, we want to look deeper than our actions into what our mindset is. What do we believe? What are our core values? What are our expectations and goals in terms of a relationship? What have we been conditioned to? What have we become accustomed to in our life when it comes to romantic relationships? We know through the media, and we know that culturally, unfortunately, over the course of 5 decades, that we have been socialized and conditioned to accept relationships that too often don't meet our standard. Do not meet a standard of actually being beneficial to us, of actually enhancing our life, and that are loving, that are supportive, that are faithful, that feature loyalty from both parties, that are reciprocal. And even though that is changing, it's getting better. Thank God we are waking up to the recognition that struggle love should not be our norm and our expectation and what we are accustomed to. But this has played out for far too often, and it can be difficult to shift when this is something that you see via family or friends or peers or social media or regular media, or a combination of all of the above. It can be difficult when we have been accustomed to this, because this is how we've grown up. This is what we've seen in our teen years, 20s, 30s, beyond. This is something that we have seen play out time and time again. We may have become very much prone to being involved in these sort of relationships because we don't think that we either deserve anything better or that we cannot achieve anything better. So we cannot have a relationship that is free from consistent drama and consistent trauma, consistent struggle, consistent issues, consistent infidelity. We may have come to believe that we cannot have better or that we don't deserve better. And that's why it's very important for us to shift our mind. It is important for us to break free of that paradigm and for us to be healed and in a healthy place before we even think about engaging in a relationship, so that we understand that we deserve far better than a standard where we are constantly going to be treated poorly in a relationship. That is something that we should never become accustomed to. And if we have, it is something that we can break free from, even if it's starting today. Whether we're 20, 40, or 60, we can make up our mind. We can be determined. We can be resolute that we are no longer going to be engaged in these substandard relationships. We should not have to be in relationships where we're not safe. And I don't mean just unsafe physically, because unsafe physically, that is a very practical, it's a very easy to recognize facet of a relationship where you should be safe physically, most definitely. But we should also be safe emotionally. We should not be in a relationship that is unsafe for us in terms of our emotions, in terms of our mental health. where we are being abused mentally, where we're being abused emotionally, where we have someone who feels entitled to cheat, where we are with a man who feels entitled to cheat and that this is his right and that we should just expect this, or we should expect 50-50 bill paying, that we should expect that we should constantly have problems that we have to swoop in and solve for him. We should not have that expectation that we should be treated any old kind of way and that that's just how things are. That's just the way relationships work. That's all that we can ever achieve in a relationship. We can't do any better. That is very important that we shake off that mindset, that mentality, those philosophies, all of that dysfunction, that toxicity, malformed programming that has us thinking that this is how a relationship should look and should play out. We shouldn't have to be unsafe in a relationship. If we're unsafe in a relationship, that relationship doesn't meet the standard. It doesn't meet the criteria, and it is infringing upon our boundary. So we should be very mindful, use our discernment. This is where the vetting and the screening is so important in a relationship, so that we not only know what is that man's core values? What does he hold dear? What does he believe his actions should look like in a relationship? What is he bringing to that relationship? But first and foremost, what are our core values? What do we expect in a relationship? What do we think we should get out of a relationship? What do we think we should have to endure in a relationship? Do we feel that we should be compromised in a relationship? Do we feel like we deserve to be safe in a relationship? Do we feel like if a relationship is unstable, that that's what we have expectations that every relationship we're in should look like? Does it feel strange to us when a relationship is stable and safe? We have to, it's very important for us in being able to walk in our femininity that we're not taking on that caping and that muling mentality, that non-reciprocal mentality, that mentality where we're always having to pick up the pieces and the relationship is always on a roller coaster and we are always giving this one-sided love and support and loyalty. A relationship should be reciprocal. And yes, either person in the relationship can go through issues that may come up through job or your finances, or you may have a physical ailment that arises, but it should not be a situation where for us as the woman, we are always on the giving side and never receiving reciprocal support and love and loyalty. It should not be a one-sided relationship where we put in all the work and all of the time and all of the energy and all of the esteem for the relationship, where we're the only one who really values this relationship. We're the only one that really is truly keeping this relationship going, keeping it operational, keeping the relationship sustaining. That should not be the case. We should not be putting that all on our shoulders and on our back to keep a relationship going. If he is not engaged, if he is not exerting an effort, then that relationship is bringing more of a burden than a blessing. It is bringing more liability than an asset. It is a relationship where we are the only person who's truly in a low estimation of what we should receive. That's a problem. That's a major problem. And it's why we want to make sure that we are in a healed and healthy place so that when we are doing our screening and vetting, and when we see these red flags that are really stop signs, we come to a full stop and we recognize that there is danger ahead. There are problems ahead. There is going to be detours ahead where we may have been thriving and doing very well in the other facets of our life in terms of our career and in terms of our goals and having vision. And then this relationship brings all of discordance to our life and instability. And so the cost of his companionship is far overridden by the problems that are being dropped at our doorstep that he is bringing to the relationship because he doesn't either believe in commitment or monogamy or in working full time or in being able to problem solve or in being financially stable on his own, or he may have mental instability, he may have emotional instability, he may have issues of his own that have not been resolved from his childhood, different traumas, and unfortunately, we are going to become the scapegoat for that if we are engaged in a relationship with such a man. Better to be single and thriving, working on our goals and working on our vision and recognizing what purpose God has for us, than engaging in a relationship just to say that we have a man, that we have a relationship, and it's one that brings a lot of discordance to our life and instability and problems, as well as drama. If a man is serious about us and serious about engaging in a healthy, functional relationship, then he will value us. He will be loyal. He will be faithful. He will support us. He will want to enhance our life. He will love us in an unselfish manner. He will not just be looking out for his own interests, but also for ours. And he will be engaged, and we won't have to beg him to spend time with us, to invest in us, to want to be committed to us, to be loyal and faithful to us. We won't have to beg a man to do that. He will do that of his own will and volition. He won't have to be coerced into it or strong-armed into it. And this is not where we should be in terms of in a relationship status. We should be able to enjoy our femininity. We should have a soft place where we can have stability and where we can be free of drama and where we know that we are safe, and not just safe physically, but safe in terms of our emotions, in terms of our mental health, and knowing that this man is just as invested in the relationship as we are, as committed to it, and again wants to enhance our life rather than undermine it. Let me know what you think in the comments beneath the video. As always, be blessed. Continue to level up. Stay far away from the struggle and dysfunction matrix, because you deserve better.